According to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, an Israeli delegation that went to Doha for talks on the next phase of the Gaza ceasefire deal has returned to Israel this morning. Phase one of the deal appears to be holding. Hamas released three more prisoners, hostages, in exchange for some Palestinian prisoners over the weekend. But the thin and frail state of the hostages has sparked shock in Israel and beyond. Joining us for more on this is CBS News contributor Robert Berger. So, Robert, these three hostages that were released, even people who haven't been tracking this very closely were shocked at how gaunt and emaciated they looked. What are people in Israel saying?
Yeah, people were shocked when they were released by Hamas about how thin they were, and they're on TV here. They were juxtaposing pictures of what they looked like before and after the release. Now, according to doctors, they're suffering from malnutrition. They looked really, really thin. And a lot of people here, and also President Trump, have said it reminds them of pictures of Jewish prisoners from the Holocaust. So these are haunting images, and it's also putting a lot of pressure on the Israeli government. The families today were in the Knesset saying, Israel's parliament saying, look, there's not a lot of time for the remaining hostages, and they want Netanyahu to make a deal to get them out now.
The other question I have, Robert, regarding these three hostages that were released is one man whose wife was killed during that festival, that music festival. He was happy to see his child, but did he know that his wife had died during the massacre during the music festival?
No, this is the Bibas family. They're kind of symbols of the hostage crisis, two little kids, including a baby, and then the wife. So when he got into the helicopter with Israeli forces, he said, well, I can't wait to see my wife and kids. And then they had to tell him that, well, they're still in Gaza. According to Hamas, they're probably dead, but Israel hasn't confirmed that. But obviously a terrible shock for him when he got back.
So heartbreaking. So what do we know about the negotiations for the second phase of this deal?
Well, as you mentioned, the delegation has returned from Qatar, where they began talks on the second phase. It's interesting to note that this is a lower level delegation, which suggests that a deal on the second phase is a long way off. The first phase is going well. We've seen the release of 21 hostages and hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. Now, this is a 6-week ceasefire, and we're about halfway through. The complicated part is the second phase, because that calls for a complete end to the war. And what we've seen from these hostages releases is that Hamas is still in control in Gaza, and that's a big problem for Israel, which is one of the war goals is to destroy the group. So with Hamas still holding on to power there, it's possible we won't be able to get to a second phase of the deal.
All right, Robert Berger for us. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it.